And you'll man it, you'll look after it. Yep. I don't have to hear about it.
Nope.
Picked it up for $1,000. $1,000.
From the first Transformers movie in 2007, the beater Bumblebee Camaro.
I've spent $80,000 restoring the car.
Legendary Motorcar started out of a small single-car garage in 1985. I've been through the ups and downs of the collector car market. I've been lucky enough to turn my passion into my business. My team shares that same passion, and together we buy, sell, restore, and race some of the greatest cars on the planet. I'm Peter Clute, and this is Legendary Motorcar.
You know, I've been doing car shows for over 30 years now, and I used to hit every single one. It didn't matter. Every weekend we were gone at shows or auctions. But now we're trying to pull back a little. So when Gary said, come on, let's do the Toronto Auto Show, which is a new car show, not really what we're selling at all, I've been telling him, I don't want to do it. We used to do it. It's 10 days. All day long, it's a ton of work. But Gary's been on me about social media saying, listen, it's a different world today. We got to participate. There's 7 million people in our own backyard that we're not paying attention to. So you really want to do this?
Yep.
Why do you want to go?
Well, we're gonna do something there where they pick, they get a bunch of cars. It's an online contest all through their social media. They narrow it down to 10 cars, and we're gonna help judge it, kind of thing. So I think, one, they get 300,000 people through there. Toronto's a big city. We should be doing more business
True,
there.
it's close to home.
Two, the social media reach of not just the auto show, not just ourselves, but then everyone passing through there, and it will be a social media contest, will be big, and it'll be all over the internet. So we're gonna go in there, we're gonna kind of help them judge on those 10 cars who wins. It's really kind of just coolest story as a car guy.
Okay, and what do you want to take for cars?
Does that mean you're in?
I'm not in.
Okay.
Okay, you're in.
Okay.
You look after it, because it's 10 days. It's a big commitment.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think it'll pay off.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you'll man it, you'll look after it.
Yep.
I don't have to hear about it.
Nope, you don't have to hear about it.
Okay.
Unless you want to.
So what about the social media and all that stuff? What do we need to do there?
No, you're good, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and do we have to go down for the judging thing, or?
Yeah, we'll go down, if you're fine with going down for one day, we'll go down and you know, do the judging and just talk to those guys.
Okay.
Yeah, like an evening or something.
Yeah, if you're looking after it.
Yep.
Okay.
People at the auto show reached out to us wondering if we wanted to be involved in the social media campaign. Turns out the lady who's running it, her dad actually owned a go-kart track that I grew up racing at, so there's a connection there. The problem is my dad does not understand social media whatsoever and doesn't see the value. I think it's important to do.
I've known Gary for a while now, and I approached him with the idea of getting involved with Canadian International Auto Show and our amazing muscle car matchup contest. The contest was a combination of establishing an owner for classic cars, their passion for it, their perceived value of a car, and just their online presence. Out of 100 applicants, we whittled it down to the top 4. We asked these people to participate at the auto show with the ultimate chance of winning $5,000.
VIP night is a great night for me to talk to a lot of the other dealer principals and just see in general what's happening with the new car market. And let's face it, the new car market is becoming part of the collector car market. When you have brand new cars like GT3 RSs, LaFerraris, like a lot of cars are instant collectibles today, and we're starting to trade in them.
So I've convinced my dad to be a part of the auto show. We've now got 10 cars there, and we're part of a social media campaign. We're a part of this thing in a major way now. This is Canada's biggest car show. I mean, Toronto's now bigger than Chicago. We've got 360,000 people coming through the auto show. There's 650,000 square feet of space. I really want to convert one of these stats into a sale. The auto show asked us to bring 10 cars out, so I wanted to display kind of what we were all about. We brought some modern cars. We brought a Viper, we brought a Ford GT. Muscle cars, we brought a 69 Baldwin Motion Camaro. We brought a 70 Boss 429. And then we brought my dad's 69 Corvette race car. It looks cool. Exotic cars, we brought a Ferrari Daytona Spider. We brought a Cobra out. Classic cars, we brought an Impala, 59 Impala. And then for a hot rod, we brought a 67 GTX we did. For the first couple of days, I tried really hard. I mean, I didn't even leave the booth for fear of missing someone. I talked to everyone, handed out business cards, trying really hard to get a sale out of this thing. By day 3 or 4, I started to get stir crazy. I'd sit at the booth 2 or 3 hours and then take 15, 20-minute breaks and try and find something fun to do. Turns out there was a racetrack right around the corner. They had this little hoverboard thing. I asked the guy what the lap record was, and he assured me I had it by the end of the day. Just down the hall was a slot car track. I hadn't driven one of these things since I was like 10. After running laps on this thing, I wanted one. Turns out it's gonna cost me $3,000 to get a rig like this.
We have it turned up, so you want me to turn it down so it's a little more manageable?
No, let's try it. Then I challenged Brian, the owner, to a full-on RC race.
Why are you gonna whoop me? Oh.
It was tougher than it looked. I didn't win that one.
When Juliana asked if I would judge the 4 finalists, I wasn't sure exactly what she wanted. I've judged lots of cars at concourses, but this was different. She was saying I needed to get more into who the people were behind the cars. I'm used to numbers matching, quality of the vehicle. She said, let's look at the whole thing. The social media thing is not just about the individual car, it's about people. Which car and person has the best story as opposed to what is the coolest car? Tell me the story about how you got the car and what you did with the car.
Well, I went online looking for, I wanted a dart swinger again. I called them just out of curiosity if they would take snowmobiles on a trade, and they said they'll take anything on a trade. So anything they can sell, they'll take on a trade. So I made them an offer, and I did well on the trades, so because obviously they don't know snowmobiles as well as a dealership would. So
yeah.
So they took 2 snowmobiles, an enclosed trailer, and $3,800, and gave me a dealer plate to drive it home. Then I got it home and we brought it in and just completely stripped the car to bare metal inside and out. Then we went with this Viper Blue, and instead of the red that was on the car, we shaved the gas cap because it has a fuel cell in the trunk. I changed the bumpers to 70s style just because my preference.
And motor-wise, what'd you do?
So it's a 360-based 408 stroker. He built me a pretty healthy street motor, and the car ended up running 1143, 118 mile an hour with 355 gear, which I'm impressed by that. And I was lucky to have a good friend that's a body man. So
You did a nice job. It is straight.
He did most of the body and taught me a lot of things along the way, and taught me how to block sand, and anything that I could do, I did. Value-wise, I've spent $80,000 or just under $80,000 restoring the car.
What do you think it would be?
My honest
You obviously
opinion,
do a lot of homework on it.
I would think right around the 40 mark, if I'm being realistic. I would think right around there.
Yeah, and I think you're bang
And
on.
I think that's pretty high end for a dart swinger. Like, dart swingers are, I think, bottom of the food chain in the Moparts. So, but it's just my preference. I like them. They're lightweight, and I like to go fast.
The guy's got a great story with the Dart, the way he found it and restored it. But what I found more interesting was that when I asked him his honest opinion on what he thought it was worth today, it's roughly half of what he spent on it. That's typically what happens with guys restoring cars, and it's always interesting to see the mindset of those people. So why don't you give me a history of how you got the car and what you did with the car?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, the car is based on from the first Transformers movie in 2007, the Beater Bumblebee Camaro. It's why we call them Beater Beat. Originally, what happened was they ended the movie. They put one on eBay for auction.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I lost it. I had it for a good part, but then right at the end, I lost her. So what had happened, my brother and my father decided, well, we're going to buy him the car and we'll build one. It was supposed to be the heart of the story is the kid in his first car that just so happens to be an alien robot, right?
Value for cars like that, where do you think they're heading? Do you see, movie cars kind of being a trend where the values are rising?
Yeah, well movie cars especially, the big thing is props in general. Like a lot of movie props themselves, but a car is obviously like a star at the same time as being just a prop. And this is the only replica that I know of that actually has screen used parts from, be it the stunt wheels.
So what do you think the value is?
I'd say it's probably close to that like 35 range.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Movie cars always have these interesting cult followings. I can't say I really understand it, but this guy was right into his car. Gary convinced me that we need to be down at the Toronto Auto Show. It's a new car show. We got 10 cars on display. There's a lot of people walking past the cars, but after 5 or 6 days, I think he's starting to realize how much work it really is.
Days 7 to 10, my attention really started to wane. I understand why my dad wasn't so excited to be down here for 10 days. Starting to get bored again, I realized there was one more lap record that I had to try and beat.
You ready? Yeah, good.
They had a full-on virtual reality simulator here. I was running races at Brands Hatch. I told them I was training, but they thought I was hogging it. The police guys had these goggles that were designed to simulate impairment. My friends always talk about beer goggles, but this is the first time I've actually tried a pair on. Boy, these things could get you into trouble in more ways than one.
So why don't you give me a history on the car, how you got it?
Okay. Basically, I've had the LT1 car, but I always wanted a ZR1. Because of the motor, I always wanted the Lotus dual overhead cam motor, so it was a big thing for me, so I managed to finally score one.
Okay, and what did you do to the car? Obviously, it's not stock.
Yeah, it's not stock. Okay, so my plan from the beginning was to modify everything anyway. So the exterior body was in great shape, so I was able to just polish it up and clean it up. I didn't do much to the exterior besides the wheels. Basically, the engine, port and polish, headers, exhaust, light flywheel, clutch, and catback exhaust. For suspension, the sway bars, coilovers all around. I wrapped all the interior in 3M wrap, the 1080 carbon look wrap. I built a frame brace for the ceiling, so it really stiffens up this car. It's what the C4s needed. I use the car. I guess I like to say I'm one of, they always say that people are either a waxer or a racer. I think I'm guilty of being both.
And what do you think the car is worth, and where do you think it's heading?
You see them all over the place. I know they're heading up. I think everybody knows they're heading up. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
For my car, I believe I'm one of the few who have modified them to this extent, so it kind of puts it in a unique kind of territory. Value-wise, it's tough to say. I've been offered.
What have you been offered?
I've been offered 42 US.
Yeah, it's a good number.
But at the same time, could I build it again for that number? And I can't. So, for me, it was my dream car.
Good looking car.
Thanks very much. Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.
Okay. I remember when the ZR1s came out, they were the hottest thing, the Lotus engine, big horsepower, and they were great performing cars. The fact that this fella has added all these modifications, I'm not sure if it really hurts it or helps it. It's interesting, and the guy is super passionate about this car. So tell me a story about the car.
Well, 10 years ago, I found it on Kijiji. It was up in a farm. I was sitting for about 25 years. Picked it up for $1,000.
$1,000.
$1,000. I'm still smiling today. It was a fantastic find. I even felt bad. I even said, hey, do you want more money? And they said, no, that's fine. They knew it was going to be restored to its glory. So I did, brought it home. And
what condition was it in for $1,000?
Very good condition. Paint obviously was dull.
Yeah.
The interior was actually kept very good because...
Original interior?
Yeah, original. I found a lot of snake skins in the car. They were, I guess, killing the mice, so it didn't trash the car at all.
And real Smokey and the Bandit 4-speed car?
Correct, Y82
Yep.
car. That's the special edition.
Yep.
A lot of people will clone them.
Yep.
This is the real deal. I used to have one when I was 17. That was actually my first car. I've owned it for about 5 years then, and then a guy came up, approached me, a friend of mine, said, hey, Johnny, I really like your car. Would you ever sell it? No, everything has a price. Well, how much would you sell it for? So I threw out a number. $7,000. I paid $3,900 for it, and next thing you know, 2 weeks later, he's knocked on my door and he has the money. So I'm basically, well, okay, the car's gone. Next thing you know, fast forward, family, house, mortgage, everything. After that, start looking for the car. Took years to find it. Once I got this one, I promised myself I'm going to do everything I can to do it, except the machining of the block, obviously.
Yeah.
So I actually did the whole engine myself.
Wow.
Did the body work. Didn't need much because it was already solid and straight.
Yeah.
Paint, I painted it myself. I did a lot of YouTube and talked to people, and a lot of people helped, like just with telling me things.
Yeah.
And the interior really didn't need much, just cleaning, and I learned a lot as I went. I've seen them creeping up every year.
Yeah.
And these things are hitting a crazy amount of money, and especially when Burt Reynolds is selling them on Barrett Jackson for crazy money.
Yeah.
Everybody
Helps
wants
all the rest of us.
It helps, yeah. So I've been throwing a lot of numbers at this car. Every cruise I go to shows, hey, is the car for sale?
Yeah.
It's not for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not for sale.
Everything's for sale. That's what the other guys
I
say,
know,
right?
everything's for sale, and everybody waits for me to throw a number out. I'll just tell them what I've been offered, but I won't throw a number out.
Yeah.
Because it caught me last time, and I won't do that mistake again, ever.
You say you wouldn't sell the car. If I said to you, okay, I'll give you 70 grand Canadian today.
No. Reason being, I've been offered more.
What have you been offered?
I've been offered 60 US.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
70 won't do it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's, you know,
a
they're
good
hard to
offer.
find. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
a good
know.
offer.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, but my son just got his license.
Yeah.
And he said, Dad, I heard there's somebody who really wants to buy your car, which is true.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. And he goes, you can't sell it. I haven't driven this car yet.
Yeah.
And he's right. The full restoration, my cost,
Yeah.
$15K. My cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it ain't going nowhere anytime soon.
Well, if you change your mind.
I'll think about it, and I have your number.
Yep.
It's always cool to see a guy that's found the barn find car. He's bought it for the right amount of money. He's done all the work himself. And this is what was really interesting. He pulled out photos of him painting the car in the driveway, literally, him rebuilding the engine in the garage. He went through everything on this car. He did his homework, he did the research, he actually learned the process when he was not a bodyman, was not a mechanic. He asked people to help him. This guy's done a fabulous job. The restoration is beautiful on the car. This guy's in love with the car. Gary just spent 10 days down at the auto show, and it was successful. He talked to a lot of people, handed out a lot of business cards, but it hasn't translated into a sale yet. Hello, Peter speaking.
Hi, Peter, you said, right?
Yeah.
I was at the Toronto Auto Show recently, and I was talking to Gary, and you mentioned that you guys have a Challenge Stradale there.
Yeah, absolutely. An 04, 10,000 miles, original paint, you know, like new condition.
Nice. What color is the paint?
It's a good question. Grigio Titanio. It's like a silvery gray color.
Silver or gray, which?
It's hard to describe. It's a silvery gray. I mean, maybe the best bet is come down, have a look at it.
Well, I'm not from Toronto exactly. I know I'm traveling right now, so I can't really come down and look at it.
Okay.
Are we able to FaceTime and you can just do a walk around of the car and then show me the color so I can see it, or?
Sure. Let me go out to the car, see if I can get that done for you. Hang on a sec, okay?
Perfect, thank you.
Shannon, can you get Gary right away? I got a little IT emergency.
For my dad, an IT emergency usually means he can't open an attachment on an email.
Gary, how do you FaceTime this thing?
Here, you just hit FaceTime.
I know what FaceTime is, I just have never used it.
That's easy enough.
Here, yep.
That's it?
Yep, here he is.
Okay. So can you see the car?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So you can see it's like a silver gray. Open up the hatch.
Yep.
It's a red interior, 10,000 mile car. The thing I'll tell you is the stripes were added. They're stickers right now. The car was a striped elite car, which is really rare.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, and then here's the engine bay.
Yeah. Oh, it looks clean.
Yeah, super clean car.
Very nice. Okay, can I just see the interior for a second?
Yep, no problem. So it's the red interior.
Yep. Very nice. Okay, well, let me think on it, and I will text you with an offer.
Okay, no, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Unbelievable.
What was that all about?
Guy met you at the auto show. And he didn't know what color it was, so FaceTime.
Right?
So he's gonna text an offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're good to receive that? You know how that works?
Smart ass. Yes, I know how to receive a text.
I just hope this deal gets closed because it'll vindicate my decision to go down to the auto show for 10 days.
That afternoon, I got an email from the fella that I'd FaceTime. We did a deal, and it was a direct deal from the auto show. I think Gary felt a lot better. Ultimately, I had to pick a winner for the auto show contest. It was for $5,000, and I thought the best story was the fellow with the Trans Am. It was a real Smokey and the Bandit car. He had the insight to buy the right car, numbers match, did all the work himself, bought it right, has the right amount of money into it, still in love with the car. I think it's a really cool story all around, and this guy definitely did most of the work himself, which always gets bonus points by me.